Deep in a remote mountain region, where mist blankets the landscape almost year-round, stands an ancient temple that has endured for hundreds of years. By day, it looks no different from other old temples, stone walls covered in moss, weathered roof tiles curved by time, and a stillness so complete that even the wind moving through the bamboo grove behind it can be heard clearly. But when night falls, especially on moonless nights, the temple becomes a place no local dares to approach. It is known as the temple where the bell rings by itself. The temple's bronze bell hangs in a small bell tower behind the main hall. The bell is old, its surface dulled by age, carved with ancient sutras now barely visible. According to the monks who once resided there, the bell has not been struck for many years. The wooden striker rotted away long ago, and no one ever replaced it. And yet, on certain nights, the bell still rings. Not with the deep, resonant tone heard during daytime rituals, but with faint, gentle chimes, slow and deliberate. Each sound is separated by a long stretch of silence, so long that those who hear it instinctively hold their breath. The sound does not carry far, but it is clear enough to reach the houses at the foot of the mountain, as if it does not travel through the air, but directly into the mind. At first, villagers assumed the sound was caused by strong winds passing through the bell tower. But something was wrong. The bell only rang around midnight, when the air was completely still, and it never rang more than 3 times. Always 1, 2, or 3 chimes, never more, before falling into total silence. Years ago, a young monk was assigned to look after the abandoned temple. He dismissed the rumors as coincidence and superstition. On his first night, he chanted sutras until late, and then went to sleep. Sometime during the 3rd watch of the night, he woke to a familiar sound. The bell was ringing soft, but unmistakably clear from behind the main hall. The monk sat up and listened. There was no wind, no other sound at all, only the solitary chime echoing through the stillness. He stepped into the courtyard and looked toward the bell tower. Under the faint moonlight, the bell was completely motionless. It did not sway. Nothing touched it. The next morning, the monk inspected the bell tower. The rope suspending the bell was brittle and worn. The striker had broken off long ago. There was no physical way for the bell to produce any sound. When he told the villagers what he had heard, the elders remained silent for a long time before advising him that if he ever heard the bell, he should chant prayers for the dead, and never try to explain it. According to stories passed down through generations, the temple once served as a refuge during a time of war. Villagers fled there to escape violence, but many never made it out alive. They died within the temple grounds, without proper rites, without burial ceremonies. In those days, the bell was rung to gather the living and to send off the dead. When the war ended, the temple was abandoned for many years, and the spirits of those who were never laid to rest were believed to linger. In Buddhist tradition, a bell is not merely an instrument, it is a call to awaken the mind. The sound of the bell reminds people to release wandering thoughts and return to the present moment. But when a bell rings without a hand to strike it, people believe it is not meant to awaken the living, but to echo the unfinished prayers of the dead. Some villagers say that after hearing the bell, they dreamed of standing in the temple courtyard, surrounded by shadowy figures with indistinct faces. All of them faced the main hall, as if waiting for a ritual that had never been completed. When they awoke, the heavy feeling lingered, as though the dream had not fully ended. The young monk remained at the temple for several months. Each time he heard the bell, he chanted prayers for the departed. Gradually, the bell rang less often, from once a week to once a month, and eventually only on full moon days or the first day of the lunar month. He believed the prayers had brought some measure of peace to the lingering spirits. On the final night before he left the temple, the bell rang again 3 times, clearer and fuller than ever before. After the last chime faded, an unusual stillness settled over the temple, as if a burden carried for centuries had finally been released. The temple still stands today, covered in moss and silence. The bell no longer rings as often, but the villagers believe that if it ever does ring again in the depths of the night, it is not an omen of misfortune. It is a reminder that some memories, some prayers, and some souls do not ask to be feared, only to be heard. And if you ever find yourself near an ancient temple at midnight, hearing a bell ring when no one is there, remember this: the most unsettling thing is not the sound itself, but the stories never fully told, still waiting for someone calm enough to listen.